Now you get your second lesson. This is the second basket that's talked about, and its Greek word is spuris, S-P-U-R-I-S. Now this particular basket wasn't necessarily used for food, although it was kind of what we would have as a large picnic basket. Or like some of the guys, they would put their tools in it, or supplies would go into these baskets, and it was set up for more of a longer journey. So some of the Jews who didn't want to buy from, they knew they were going to be there for a while, they certainly didn't want it any way, shape, or form to have to buy food in 3 days, so they brought a larger basket of the food. And these baskets were mainly made out of kind of a rough rope sort of affair. But that's why there's a big difference. The first one, they picked up 12 baskets of these smaller baskets, hand baskets. And in the second time, we find out that they picked up in verse, where are we here? Verse 8, it says, they ate as much as they wanted. Afterward, the disciples picked up 7 large baskets of leftover food. There were about 4,000 people in the crowd that day, and Jesus sent them home after they had eaten. Then, immediately, he got into a boat with his disciples and crossed over to the region of Dalmanutha. Now, this time, instead of him sending the crowd away, sending the disciples away on the boat, and him going up the mountain to pray, he gets in the boat with the disciples and goes off with them. So it's obvious, the details of these stories make it more than richly obvious they were 2 different circumstances. Do you know why else? We look at the poor disciples as being not real bright. You know, sometimes they're as smart as a bag of barber hair. You know what I'm saying? They just didn't get it. But on this particular occasion, there was something else who was there. Who was he talking to? Jews or Gentiles? Gentiles. Well, did God rain manna down to the Gentiles in the wilderness? No. But God fed 5,000 Jewish people plus their families. Oh, but these are not Jews. So of course Jesus couldn't do it for them, could he? Well, they just got finished healing or casting out a demon from a Syrophoenician woman. They were thick-skulled enough not to get it there. And so he's again repeating the lesson to them. Hey guys, look, I came for the world, not just the Jews. So I'm going to rain good on them as well as on the Jews. So that's why they were also wondering, well, of course, you know, God's not going to feed them. They're Gentiles. And that was the other reason they were a little bit wondering what are we going to feed them in the wilderness? And Jesus showed them once again that he would feed them. And these people didn't want to come and crown him king. They were just thankful for the fact that they had been there, that they had been healed, that they had been taught. And I don't know about you, but if you're staying someplace for 3 days, where do you go to the bathroom? You've got 4,000 people plus all the others. Where do you go? I mean, where do you sleep? You have 4,000 people. Talk about a camp meeting. We had camp meeting in Arizona. You've been to Lorinda, haven't you? The camp meeting in Arizona? Yes. So you know what it's like. That big round dome, everybody's there. There's like 8,000 people there sometimes. And then they leave from there and you've got, during the week, you have like a couple of thousand. And on the weekends, you have as many as 8,000 people. And they've got public restrooms all over the place, and they've got cabins to sleep in, and they've got tents, and they've got motor homes. These people had none of that. They slept out under the stars. With what? I mean, a blanket. They laid down. We're soft. You know that? We really are. We're just soft. These people stayed with him for 3 days. That's why Jesus didn't want to give them up and say, get out of here. Go on home. It's okay. You can find food somewhere. He fed them. Now, when he got all finished with all of these, there was food in those 12 baskets on the first time around. There was food in the baskets on the second time around at the feeding of the 4,000. Desire of Ages puts it this way. She says, after the multitude had been fed, there was an abundance of food left. But he who had all the resources of infinite power at his command said, gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. These words meant more than putting the bread into the baskets. The lesson was twofold. Nothing is to be wasted. We are to let slip no temporal advantage. We should neglect nothing that will tend to benefit a human being. Let everything be gathered up that will relieve the necessity of earth's